and welcome to Scott's Kitchen. You know, I've done a few recipes in the recent past, that used Spam, and I got a lot of comments like, why are you doing so many things with Spam? Why do you like Spam? What are you doing? Can you not do any more Spam recipes? Kind of like that, kind of along those lines. But I'm going to throw all that away, and we're going to do another Spam recipe today. So what I have is, I think I mentioned this in the last video, is I have a book called Hawaiians Cook with Spam. It's one of my favorite books, and it has a recipe here. I'm going to put it up right here so you can see the recipe, and I'm going to be following this, and I hope they don't copyright it. I love the book. I'm promoting it, so hopefully the copyright thing isn't a problem, but we'll go forward. So anyway, it has a great recipe here for Spam fried rice. I think I was calling it island rice. There's a different recipe that's island rice, which is just rice and Spam. This one has, it's more of a traditional fried rice with egg and green onions, and it even has a little bit of shrimp in there too. So I thought that would kind of be an interesting recipe. So we're going to go ahead. I'm only going to make half the recipe because Lily and I are empty nesters. It's just the two of us, and that's kind of all the ingredients that I had. I only had about 3 cups of cold rice. This was from the other day, and I just had about 3 cups, so that's going to work out perfectly to be about half the recipe. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is start with Spam. So I like the 25% less sodium, and I think I'm going to go over a few basic Spam techniques. How to get it out of the can, things like that. So love these pull tabs. I don't know whether any of you remember. Remember, it used to come with a metal thing that you broke off, and then you had to find the little, I think it was along this way. You had to find the little tab, put it in the slot, and you cranked it all the way around to open up the can of Spam. It was pretty labor intensive, and the new one is a lot better. So you saw me just kind of crack it open. That's sort of my secret method. If you do this kind of this way and this way, then what you can do is, and it comes right out like that. Okay, some people struggle with getting the Spam out of the can. Just, then bang. So grip, grip, bang. Now we have all of the little bit of fat. Let's wash that off in the sink. All right. So if you just use a little bit of practice and kind of try and make your pieces even and kind of make sure that it's cut all the way, and then just kind of like pick a size that you want to cut and just make it the same size each time. And try to go straight down. And with a little bit of practice, you can kind of get pretty good at this. And then when you get to the end, you kind of have to decide, am I going to have 2 thin pieces or 1 super thick piece? Let's see if I can cut this in half like this. And sometimes you go off to the side, and that's okay. Hey, that's pretty good. Right on. Okay, so you can see they're more or less the same width and straight. So just a little bit of practice, and that's all you need. So sometimes with eggs and Spam, I like kind of big chunks. But being that this is going to be fried rice, I'm going to do really small. We're really going to dice it. I normally wouldn't cook Spam in a wok, but what I'm going to do is just, the first thing I do is the egg. And so I have 1 egg. The recipe calls for 2. I just 1 with a little bit of milk. And I'm just going to kind of do a fried egg. And let's add our egg. What I'm going to do is wash this bowl, and I can kind of use it for everything that's going to kind of go in at the end, like all the vegetables and things. And then let's stir this just a bit. Ooh. Hey, I kind of like a wok for this. This works really good. Add a little bit of salt. Maybe a little bit of pepper. Isn't that a beautiful egg? The incredible edible egg. I'm just going to turn that off. All right, so we can put that in here, in our side bowl. Nope, I'm not going to leave that in the pan. Okay, so back to the chopping station. I can just kind of give this a little chop with my spatula, but that's really ready to go in. Other ingredients. I know it's not in the recipe, but I have a little like mini sweet bell pepper here. So I just cut off the ends, and then what I like to do is just cut it like that, split this open, take off this, and then I can put that in probably some of the seeds. I can leave some of the seeds, it's no problem. Just going to, I have a whole bag of these little peppers. They're really cool, they're different colors. They're okay. So that goes in the bowl. So what the basic idea here is, we're going to chop everything up, get it all chopped up in the bowl, and then we'll start with our rice. Now these carrots, I really don't want like big pieces of carrots. It's almost going to be just little slivers. I'm going to chop these up, maybe like about there. Let's kind of put the waste over here, and we can kind of and now let's get to our shrimp. I think you've seen me cut shrimp before. I'm just peeling these and cut these in small pieces. So these are 13, 15 shrimp. That means there's 13 to 15 of them per pound, which means they're pretty big. So they're more than an ounce each, I guess, 16 ounces to a pound. So that means these are more than an ounce each. And the bigger the number on your shrimp, the smaller the shrimp, and the smaller the number on your shrimp, the bigger the shrimp. Did I say that right? Does that make sense? I don't know. Okay. So we turn the fire on the wok, put in some avocado oil, and now we're just gonna put the rice in here. Probably add a little bit more oil as we go, and just kind of fry it a little bit. So let's add a little bit more avocado oil to this. We can add our, I don't really have any onions. The recipe calls out for onions. I don't have any, so I'm just going to use this chopped onions. I'm not going to use any salt, because the Spam is salty, and we're going to put soy sauce, and that can be kind of salty too. So we're adding some of this that I found, chopped garlic. Wow, that looks really good. Just kind of spread that out and put that in the center. Coarse ground black pepper. Ooh, yeah. That's looking good. So basically right now is I have kind of garlic rice. Oyster sauce. 1 teaspoon, I mean. Boy, that is really thick, huh? So I think now we can start adding our vegetables and our Spam. We just don't want to cook the shrimp for too long, the Spam can take it, and the vegetables can probably take it, but I don't think. Let's put that at the end for garnish. So let's do three teaspoons. 1, 2, and a little bit more. That's what I'm using. Then I like to add a little bit of this. I don't know what it is, but it says improves taste, and it sure does. Just a few sprinkles of that, and then also some sesame seeds. These are really good. All right, we're almost there. I'm going to turn up the heat just a bit. Ooh, look at the shrimp. The shrimp is cooked. Well, almost. Look at. That's looking great. I was reading the book Hawai'i Cooks With Spam, the one that this recipe came from, and I was really struck. Some of the beginning of the book reviews Hawaii's relationship and Hawaiians' relationship with Spam. And it's pretty interesting. They eat an average of 6 cans of Spam per person, which is the most in the nation per capita consumption of Spam. And so I kind of got to wonder, how did this come about? And so I was reading some more of the things in the book and found more of the story. The interesting part to me is how the story of Hawaiians and Spam kind of mirrors my own story. My grandfather, which I talked about in a previous video, he was in the Navy in World War II, primarily in the Pacific, and he loved to eat Spam. My father grew up eating it. My grandfather retired from the Navy, so they used to go to the PX or whatever you call it, the base. They always call it that we're going to the base to go shopping, and they would get their Spam as well as other things. And my father grew up eating that, and he kind of followed on, giving it to us as we grew up. Well, that's really where the story of Spam in Hawaii also starts, is during World War II. If you can think about it, um, the Hawaiian Islands import most of their goods. They don't have a lot of goods that are manufactured on the island, and so they import most of their goods. During World War II, obviously shipping and things coming from the United States or other parts of the world, it was very dangerous to actually ship items back and forth. So primarily the Hawaiian Islands were supported by the U.S. military, the large military bases there, and all of the military people that were occupying the island as a base for the war in the Pacific. And so the U.S. military approached Hormel Company for a meat that they had developed that was already cooked in the can. You could eat it right out of the can, and these cans could be shipped all over, and they would be great in any environment. Anywhere you took them, they were very durable. So it was a perfect kind of high-calorie item for soldiers and things to be used during that time period. And then that just transferred right to the Hawaiian people, because that's was during the war a lot of what they ate. So then they integrated Spam into all kinds of different recipes, using their creativity to use what they had at the time. And those recipes were very delicious, and incorporated a lot of Japanese recipes, Chinese, Korean, and things like that from all around the world. And that followed through to this day, and is a result of the popularity of Spam in Hawaii. All right, so let's try this. You got a bite with a little bit of Spam, some shrimp, green onions, and egg. The shrimp is perfect. And the Spam tastes good. The Spam and the shrimp really go good together. I didn't think they really would, but this is really tasty. This was a really fun recipe. I know I do a lot of Spam, and I know sometimes it can be a little bit too much, but we're having fun, right? And we're making food, and we're eating it, and it tastes good, and I think that's all that matters. Anyway, I hope you make this recipe or fried rice with maybe something else. You could make it with ham, barbecued pork, anything you like. Just substitute the Spam if you don't like that. But this recipe from the Hawaiians Cook with Spam, I think is a winner. And I got a little bit of the heat from that from that sriracha sauce. So anyway, I really enjoyed making this, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. And we'll see you next time on Scott's Kitchen. Thanks for watching.